Hello, Robert here with northerncompass.com, and today we're going to discuss the application settings for RSS Toolbox with FULCRUM. The application settings are launched by clicking on the gear icon over here to the left of your screen. Notice we have General Settings, Shop Settings, Database Settings, Email Settings, as well as Text Message Settings if you have FULCRUM enabled. Let's start from the beginning with General Settings. Notice here we have two options. We can tell the program not to show the application settings each time it starts up. We can also enable training mode, which we're going to do. I'm going to show you the feature at the end of the video. And then we're going to tell the software to save the settings. We can also go back if we'd like and actually restore settings from a previous version of RSS Toolbox. Let's take a look at our shop settings. Notice we set the shop name and the shop phone number here, and this is what's used as the signature at the bottom of each text message and each email by default. So you can go ahead and override those settings in text messages and email at the time you compose them, or enter them here and they'll be added for you. Let's take a look at our database settings. So odds are, if you're seeing this screen, you've probably installed RSS Toolbox with FULCRUM on a computer that was not the Mitchell1 host. If you did install this on a workstation, that's just fine, but we're going to need to go ahead and find the Mitchell1 database. So I'm going to tell the system to go out and find all Mitchell1 databases on our network. And we'll give this a moment. This is a Microsoft task that we've activated, and it's going to return the results to us as soon as it's completed. And here we are. We've actually found the database we're using because I have this installed on a Mitchell1 host machine. And I'm going to go ahead, after I've selected the database I want to use here, I'm going to tell the software to use the selected database. And notice that once I've done that and it's set the database, my current database is now set to the database I want to use. Please note that on Mitchell1 host machines, where you see WTENT will actually say localhost by default. And then I can save and test these database settings. If I see this message, I'm good to go to start using the application. However, if I see any other message, then I might need to try again to find my Mitchell1 database. We've also included down here the ability to actually enter in the physical IP address of the host computer on the network. We've built this in for shops that may not be running Mitchell1 in a basic network environment. You may or your IT administrator may have actually set up an environment to where it's a little harder for databases to find or any software to find the Mitchell1 program. If that's the case and you cannot find it automatically, you're more than welcome to enter in the host computer's IP address and again say use database. It'll update the current database here, and then you would save those connections just as we did a few moments ago. I want to stress to users that although we did build in the ability to use this advanced feature to connect to the Mitchell1 host via IP address, we strongly recommend that you leave this up to a trained IT professional if you actually need to use this feature. Let's move on to the email settings. The email settings are used specifically when you go to send an email, when you go to send an email reminder for recommendations that's in a report format. Again, this is what we call a recommendation reminder report, and this actually will include every recommendation across every vehicle that the customer owns. We built this to bypass the limitation of all local email clients, including Microsoft Outlook, Mozilla's Thunderbird, and everything else. We did this by connecting and sending the mail straight through your mail server account instead of through your computer. So you can see here, and you probably remember this address from the demonstrations, this is a demo Gmail account that's not really used, but it served our purposes. We would enter in the email address to this account, the password for that email address, and then because it is a Gmail account, it qualifies as one of our pre-configured SMTP servers, meaning we just select Gmail and all this information is filled out for us. Notice we could sit here and we could select email from Northern Compass if you have one of our email accounts, and that information is updated. If you have a Microsoft Office 365 Exchange email system, you can put that in here and we'll find all that information for you. Please note that if you are using a Gmail account, Google has a habit of changing these SMTP ports quite often. And so for right now, the current one they're using is 587 at the time this video is produced. But if you needed to, maybe they chose to use 123, you could actually go in here, modify this, and save and test your email settings. If it's successful, the software will tell you it's successful, and you'll also get a test email within your inbox. For right now, I'm going to go ahead and change that back to 587. The next tab we have here is our SMS text message settings. This information is information provided from Northern Compass to you right after you purchase RSS Toolbox with the FULCRUM package. You will receive an email from us within 24 hours of purchasing RSS Toolbox with FULCRUM that actually contains all the information needed here for text messaging. It's going to contain the number that we're sending from, and we'll do our best to find a number in your local area that matches your shop's area code. It also contains what's called an account SID, as well as an authentication token, and you'll put those in here and go ahead and save your settings. Please note again, I want to remind you that when you purchase RSS Toolbox with FULCRUM, you'll get a first email that's going to be your licenses for the Toolbox itself and for FULCRUM. Those come immediately in under 60 seconds. However, for text messaging, we need to set that up for you, and we are promising all customers that we're going to get that out to you within the first 24 hours. However, in most cases, it'll be an hour or less. This has been how to use the settings panel within RSS Toolbox. If you'd like to go ahead and end this video right now, you can, but I'm going to take a moment and show those, if you'd like to stick around, what the actual training side looks like that we enabled earlier. So I'm going to close the software. I'm going to go down to my taskbar. I'm going to open it back up. This is a demo copy, so we don't have any of our security services installed on it. And notice now that we've enabled a video playback button, and you can click on any of these icons within the panel and actually be taken straight to our website for a training video on how to use that panel, much like what you're listening to right now for the application settings panel. And this concludes our video.